Okay, this is our last talk of the afternoon, and it's a very special one. So I hope that you enjoy it and take advantage of it. Okay, I'm here to present John Miller. He is representing Switzerland, so he's a big fan of cheese, okay? Also, he loves to talk and share knowledge. That's very important. And also making things for the open web. And today he's here to help us to talk about a myth busting and a Q&A session about appearing in Google search. Okay, this talk is interactive. So it's gonna be open to make questions since the minute 3. Okay, we're gonna let John to introduce himself, but more questions, better. So please make questions. We are gonna have volunteers in this area with the mic and the other area. So, and also I'm gonna be passing the mic. So this is about you making this talk better. So please, a big round of applause to John. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, okay. I didn't think people would care about SEO at WordCamp. Okay, I'm not going to complain. Maybe just briefly about myself. I work at Google. I've worked at Google for, I think, over 17 years now, mostly in search, and my team tries to make it so that sites have it easier when it comes to search. So we would like to make it so that anyone who's making a website or who's making a website for other people has it easy to be successful through Google search. And that includes a lot of technical documentation and videos, and we work with the policies, we work with the Search Console team. We also work together with the SiteKit team. Who here has SiteKit on their site? Okay, good. Could be more. I don't know. Maybe I have to say something about like ranking factors or no. Sorry. Absolutely not. Sorry. But we work together with lots of teams that care about search, and we try to make it so that everyone has it easy with search. And I think for WordPress, that's pretty easy because by default, WordPress just kind of works for search, which makes me kind of wonder, like, what are you all trying to learn from here? Because it's like WordPress just works. But anyway, I have a lot of myths that I've collected. Some of these I collected through questions that people submitted. Some of them are more WordPress related. Some of them are more generic. So we'll see how we do. And for these myths, I need your help. So when I present a myth, I will ask, like, who thinks this is true? And you raise your hand. Can you raise your hand? Yeah, don't nod. It's like, yeah, okay. And I'll say, like, is it false? And then it's like, you raise your hand if you think it's false. Like, oh my gosh, this is going to be hard. Like, afternoon on the second day, everyone is asleep. I'm so sorry. But I need your help. Otherwise, we will not get through this. Okay, first one. This one, I thought I would start with something easy. Like, Google doesn't crawl and index every URL on the web. What do you think? Is that true? Is it false? Some false. Okay. Does Google crawl and index every URL on your website? Yeah, does it? It does. Okay. Well, maybe you're the perfect SEO. Like, what are you doing here? So, it's okay. I mean, also, like, feel free to ask questions in between. I have a bunch of these myths, but hopefully it gets the conversation started a little bit. So it's true. Like, Google does not crawl and index every URL on the web. We did an analysis a few years back, and we came up with the number 300 trillion URLs that we had seen. And one of the things that threw me off when I prepared for this talk is how much 300 trillion URLs is. And first, I learned that there is a short scale and a long scale of numbers. And 300 trillion that we're talking about is, of course, the American trillion, which is 10 to the power of 12. But in parts of Europe, they have 10 to the power of 18 for trillion. It's complicated, see? But we're talking about the American trillion. And one way to think about this is if we printed out every one of these pages and made a pile of paper that would lead all the way from Basel, from here, to the moon 70 times, over 70 times. So you can imagine, that's a lot of content. And storing all of that, even at Google scale, is going to be very hard. So it's very, very challenging to index everything. Some sites have almost an infinite number of pages. Some sites are just spam, so we don't actually index a lot of that. Some sites we don't know, like what we should do with all of this content, and sometimes we'll index a part of it, see how it goes, and maybe index a little bit more. Okay, next one. Broken HTML leads to broken SEO. Who thinks this is true? If you have broken HTML, it's bad for your SEO. Okay, some. Okay. Are you all web designers? Okay. Who thinks it's false? Broken HTML does not lead to broken SEO. Okay, it's kind of mixed. And I see a lot of people reserved, not quite sure, which is good, actually. So from a practical point of view, broken HTML does not automatically lead to broken SEO, which is, I think, kind of useful for all of the people who don't know how to validate their websites HTML. Who here has validated their home pages websites HTML with a validator? Okay, looks like the people who said HTML has to be okay. That's fine. I think validating the HTML on your homepage is something you should probably do. Even if it's not like a top ranking factor or top SEO thing, but just to give you a sense of like how valid is this what I'm actually providing, or if you're working with clients, like how valid is what you've actually created. One of the original webmasters at Google, Jens Meyert, he's from Germany. He regularly does analysis to see like how many of the websites that are out there are actually valid HTML. And he really appreciates his craft, making good, valid HTML pages. And he determined in 2024, 0.5% of the top 200 sites actually have a valid HTML homepage. And if you think about it, 0.5%, that is one website that has valid HTML on their homepage, like not even looking at the other pages, which is kind of crazy. It's like top 200 sites, I'm sure they're doing fairly well in search, but only one of these has valid HTML. So, but I also have one more thing that will throw you off. In SEO, I don't know if you've heard the phrase, it depends. When it comes to SEO, okay, some people are kind of grinning, but a lot of times when people ask me questions about SEO, I'm like, well, it depends. And then they say, oh, John doesn't know what he's talking about. But a lot of questions around SEO do have an answer that is, it depends, just purely because there's so many different things that can play a role here. And with broken HTML, that's the same as well. It can be broken in ways where it's like technically broken, but it's still all kind of functioning well. Or it can be broken in ways that is really, really broken. And in particular, metadata that we have on top of a page, like a meta tag, or if you have structured data with JSON, JavaScript within a page, all of these things have to be technically readable so that our systems can process them. And if your HTML is broken in a way that these things don't work, then of course, like we can't take those into account, and you kind of lose any SEO effect from there. So my takeaway here with regards to broken HTML is, on the one hand, don't panic if your HTML is broken. But on the other hand, also like from time to time, use an HTML validator just to see how broken is it. Is it something that you can fix? Is it something that maybe a plugin that you installed broke that's maybe easy to fix or not? OK. This is a little bit more SEO type, I guess. The text on my pages is unique, complete, and correct. Therefore, my site is of high quality. What do you think? Yes. Like, yes, text is complete. Oh, OK. Like, handful, very few. Do you think this is false? OK. Wow, OK. That's nice. I think a lot of people care about the quality of the text, but it's also, when it comes to websites, the quality, at least from Google's point of view, from a search engine, is a lot more than just the text in an article that you have. So it's something where a lot of people come to me and it's like, well, my site is not ranking as well as this other site, but I have the correct text on my page. And when it comes to search engines, we look at more than just the text on the page. We try to look at the site overall, like is the site overall of high quality? And also when we think about the text on a page, we try to figure out like, well, is there anything unique and valuable on this page? Like it might be all technically correct and valid content, but if everyone else has the same information, then that's kind of like you don't have anything special that makes you stand out. And on the one hand, this applies to one page that maybe like is not ranking as well as you wanted, but it also applies to the website overall. And this is something where I think, especially in the age of AI and SEO, it's worth thinking about this, where if the bulk of your content is something that is more like commodity content, and you don't have anything that really stands out, it doesn't matter if the text is correct on your pages. Like it really has to provide value overall when it comes to search. OK. What about this one? WordPress plugins, they can't break my SEO. What do you think? True? OK. Who here is a plugin developer? False? OK. Good. Wow. OK. You all are good. I don't know why I'm presenting for you. It's like, you know everything. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And again, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to like stand up or raise your hand, and then we can kind of talk through some more details there. Especially when it comes to WordPress or bigger CMS systems in general, if you have a plugin, of course it can change the way that your website is presented. And it can be something that can work in your favor with regards to SEO, and it can be something that breaks everything for SEO. So you can install a plugin that basically breaks the HTML on your pages, and then maybe like that will be bad for SEO. Or you can have a plugin that turns everything into something like, I don't know, a Flash-based website. And of course, that makes things more complicated too. Like, I hope nobody has a Flash-based website here. No? OK. Because that would be an awkward discussion. OK. Core Web Vitals. I was yesterday in a talk about Core Web Vitals, and I thought it was really fantastic. Who here cares about Core Web Vitals? OK, good, good. Good Core Web Vitals score helps with core updates. What do you think? Yes? OK, some? No? OK, and a lot of people undecided, which is also interesting. So I think... So the answer is no. But I think what is kind of confusing, or what I see people getting confused by sometimes, is just the name, like Core Web Vitals and Core Updates. Sounds like it might be related, but it's very different. So you shouldn't mix those together. But at the same time, I could also present this as it depends, because of course, some of these vitals do play a role in SEO and are things that we do watch out for. In particular, when you think about things like LCP, largest contentful paint, it's something that on the one hand, it's like the time that it takes to load a page is not super problematic with regards to SEO, but it kind of aligns with pages that tend to have a lot of clutter on them, with lots of different ads or lots of big images that are blocking the main content on the page. And then it's more that it's like, well, it's similar, but it's not directly related to kind of a ranking aspect. But it is also something, when you think about Core Web Vitals, it's something that plays a big role for users. And they will stay longer on your website. They will do more things on your website if you have a website that is kind of performant when it comes to kind of like interactiveness with the browser. Okay, changing my theme can boost my SEO. What do you think? Yes. You install the SEO Power theme and everything will go up. Yes? No? Also kind of mixed, a little bit more yes, or maybe everyone is asleep. Okay. What about just raising your hand? Okay, I see kind of like the baseline. Okay, so who here has an SEO powerful theme installed? A theme that is good for SEO. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Oh no, the clicker doesn't work. Oh, here we go. Yes. Okay, so it can boost your SEO. I think, of course, I phrase it in a way to make it a little bit more, I don't know, click-worthy. But it is true that when you install a theme, of course, that changes how your website is presented. And if you work for clients, then there are some themes that work very well for SEO and some themes maybe that don't work so well. And of course, that can have a big effect on what Google thinks with regards to your website. Okay, let's see. Using the indexing API for my blog is fine. So I know some plugins use the indexing API. Do you know, like who here knows what the indexing API is? Yes. Sends the pages to Google's indexing. You think using the indexing API is fine for my blog? Some people, okay. What about no? Not a lot, okay. It's like very unconvinced. Everyone's like, John is just trying to trick us all the time. I'm sorry. So actually, the indexing API is only for job postings or live broadcasts. And most WordPress sites, I imagine, are not job posting sites or live broadcast sites. Of course, like I'm sure there are some, but most of these don't fall into these categories. And this is something where, of course, if you create an API like this and you call it indexing API from Google, then a lot of people will be like, well, I want my pages indexed too, and they'll try to use it. But actually, it's not really meant for this, and it's something where the people who are running the API, they also watch out for this kind of abuse, and they try to filter it out. So of course you can use it, but if it has no effect, then you're kind of wasting your time doing things that you don't need to do. Okay, let's see. JavaScript. Okay, another one of those topics that I think is sometimes controversial. I suspect in the WordPress world, JavaScript sites, JavaScript frameworks are less of a topic. Is that correct? Or do people work with JavaScript sites? Anyone? JavaScript? Handful of developers in the back? Of course, in the back. Paying attention and making JavaScript. Okay, is it true? JavaScript sites now just work for SEO? Yes. People are unconvinced, like half raising their hand. Okay, false. JavaScript is evil, right? Okay, that got developers to raise their hand. I'm sorry. Okay, well, here's another. It depends. we've done a lot of work to make JavaScript sites just work for SEO for the most part. But obviously, there are lots of ways that you can break things. And it's something that we run across every now and then, not a lot, thankfully. But it still happens that we run across a site that uses like the hash fragment with some kind of URL slug at the end that kind of loads the content. Or what is harder to recognize is when a JavaScript site loads the content using an API, and the API is blocked by robots.txt, which means when we try to render the page, we can load the HTML, we can load the JavaScript, but we can't actually load the content itself because it's blocked through robots.txt. And this happens every now and then. You can test your site to see if it is renderable or not. So there are lots of things that you can do nowadays, but it is something where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and it's important to watch out for kind of these patterns around JavaScript sites. Okay. All right, so we talked about SiteKit, but adding Google plugins or Google code is always unproblematic for SEO. It's like, that's hopeful. Okay, I don't know if that works from a technical point of view. Hope, but sometimes. I mean, Google engineers are fantastic, right? It's like surely, like if they work for the company that makes a search engine, then surely everything they do will always just work for SEO, right? Okay, Google plugins always unproblematic. Yes. Google plugins. Oh my. Okay. Okay. If people have questions, like feel free to come up. I mean, I have a lot of these prepared that we can go through, but also it's like this is your chance to get questions answered. Oh, okay. So Google engineers are fantastic, but they don't all know SEO. I'm sorry. And we see this regularly within Google Sites, like they don't perform that well with regards to SEO. We also can't give them advice with regards to SEO. So when someone from Google runs a public site, they have to go post in the public forums, like everyone else. And the other part is, of course, you can overdo it with all of this Google code as well, where it's like you can add like all of these different scripts for AdSense and Tag Manager and whatever on your page, and you can like add a lot of load that just makes things break, even if individual parts might be okay. Okay, let's start with a question.
Okay, hi. Why should a reasonably literate internet user prefer proprietary secret technology over open source technology?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm not sure like what you're referring to. Maybe first of all, it's like, are you talking about like Google search engine is proprietary or like web pages proprietary?
Open source is a development in the modern era. Two precursors of open source were developed here in Europe, the Scientific Revolution and the Protestant Reformation. They both rely heavily on the transparency of publication. Today, it's not only languages like English and HTML, but also technologies such as publishing and government that play a significant role.
Okay. I don't really know which
the question is, why should a reasonably literate internet user prefer proprietary secret technology over open source technology? It's a proprietary secret technology or is it, what is Google exactly again?
It's a big company. I mean, there are lots of different parts of Google. So it sounds to me like something which probably would make sense to discuss in person, where I can kind of like understand a little bit more.
I'm very happy to go into more detail this evening, maybe, with anyone. What detail sounds like I have all the answers. I don't have all the answers, but I think open source is a good technology.
I generally agree, yes. Okay. Oh, wow, questions are coming. Great. Everywhere.
Should I start? It will be Mia first? Okay. Now, I'll try to make a question more simple for you, at least, let's hope. I want to ask a question. I have already an answer on this, but I will be curious to know, again, it's still an opinion. So, speaking with other people that have websites in this, in this era, in this AI era, many people are wondering, but why we should, what is the value of a website when you have like an AI overview before that? So because many people are worried that actually the sites are not anymore viewed due to the things. I don't think it's really a problem, but I was curious to understand what do you think about it. Thank you.
Now, I generally agree with you. I think things are shifting, of course, because with all of these AI technologies, with these generative technologies, it's different in search. It's different in some of these AI tools as well with regards to getting some information. But for the most part, I find that the value of a website continues to be there if it provides value to the web overall. And that's something where if you have, for example, any service that you're offering, if you have any products that you're selling, if you have subscriptions that you're selling, if you're doing anything that provides value past just a handful of words on your pages, then people will need to go to your pages to get that information. If someone wants to buy a t-shirt, like no AI answer is going to satisfy them. It's like, here's how you can make your own t-shirt. And like that's not what they're looking for. They want to go to a website where they can actually buy something. And they want to go to a website that they can trust. Where I think some kinds of websites that offer information that is all commodity content, where if you're just like taking a word and you're like, oh, I will research this for 2 hours and I will write an article with 300 to 400 words on it and I will publish it. Like all of this information, if you're researching it for 2 hours, then that's information that already exists on the web. And some of that is maybe fine to kind of like add to an existing website. But if your whole website is filled with information that is essentially compiled from research that you've created for 2 or 3 hours, then all of you know, like when you use ChatGPT or some of these other tools, like it provides similar information. And this is especially the case if all of your website is created with these tools already. So if some AI system is creating like this blog post on this new topic that you're thinking about, then of course the AI system can take this information that it can already generate and say, well, I can give you a short version of this too. So that's something where I think if you're working to really provide something of unique value to the web, then that will continue to be valuable. Whereas if you're just publishing things so that you have, I don't know, 1,000 articles, which each 400 or 500 words on them, then I don't know what the actual value of that might be.
One maybe additional question to that, like on the topic of myths, is there something in addition that we can do on our websites to make it into the AI overviews, or is it like the same SEO measures that you would normally do, or can you clarify on that?
Yeah. We recently published an article and a blog post on what you need to do to get into AI overviews and AI mode, and the answer is nothing. And I think some people were unhappy about that answer because they expected like you have to do something special. But from our side, when I work together with our engineers, a lot of this is we want to work with the web as it is. We want to make sure that whatever people are publishing on the open web, using WordPress, using any other platform, that just works for search, that people don't have to do something special. So that's essentially why we worked really hard to make sure that you don't have to do anything to be visible in these kind of new features, apart from being indexable and, of course, being available on the open web with the content. So that's kind of our answer there. I think like when you talk with SEOs, sometimes they will say, well, you have to build out a topic cluster, or you have to do something special with embeddings. And of course, these are things that you can do to improve on marketing and making sure that your website has value in a broad way. But from a technical point of view, you don't need to do anything.
Hi, John.
Okay.
We are
running out of time.
We are running out of time. Big round of applause to John, please. John, come here, come here.